Welcome, everyone, to Dog Talk Live. I'm Jeff Fuller, and I have Soggy Acres Retrievers. We also have our TV show, Sporting Adventures. This is Memphis, who likes to hug me. She does this several times a day. Scarlett right now is attacking me and wants her butt scratched. So my world is Labrador Retrievers. I'm a trainer. I have a kennel where we breed dogs. We also have our TV show, Sporting Dog Adventures TV. We're here to talk to you about whatever the topic is today. Running a little bit early just because of the fact that we've got an appointment we got to keep up with here shortly after we get off the live broadcast, and figured I'd get here so we can make sure we have everyone's questions answered. When you pop in, please let us know where you're from. It's always fun to see where everybody is checking in from. We got Randy Gruner. Randy, I hope you're doing well, buddy. I've had some stuff going on, as you know, so I haven't gotten to you, but I watched your updates. I hope you're healing up. I hope you're getting around and walking, and I hope pretty soon you'll start like tumbling and cheerleading. I hope everything's healing up. For you that don't know, we ended up where we lost one of my boys from the TV show. He's been a great representation of the hunting world. He was a very talented kid. We lost him to he took his life. So that is something that I'm also very outspoken about, is finding help for our troubled youth. We're raising money. We raised over $20,000 that we're going to spend locally in several of the area's school districts to help set up some programs for these kids. And hopefully, in Cole's name, I can honor him and his memory by helping other kids. So again, if you have questions about that, please let me know. I'm more than happy to talk about it. More people need to talk about mental health issues and kids that are struggling and not be embarrassed about it. And if it takes me to talk about it, so be it. I am more than open to chat about it. But we're also here to talk about dogs. So if you have questions, please throw them up here. We'll answer them. We're also on YouTube, which is what I'm looking at now. Cannot answer the questions as easy there, but I do try to go back. Put your questions in as a comment to this video, and I'll answer them at a later date as well. My email is sportingdogtv. We'll put it on here. Let's see, Sporting Dog. I gotta get to where I can put a comment in. SPORTINGDOG TV at gmail.com. At gmail.com. So that is where you can also send your questions. Sportingdogtv at gmail.com. Please let us know what questions you have. You can put the questions up here. We'll try to answer them. And you can always get a hold of us here after this live broadcast is over. So we got to go through and check some of our comments. We got Nova Scotia, we got Wisconsin, we got California, we got East Troy, Wisconsin. It's kind of neat. So we're already got 2 countries on board. And my computer is going super, super slow. Mississippi, I wish my computer would go faster, but the problem that I'm running into is we are actually working on copying our drives so that we can send them over and get some help. I'm going to be putting together an online TV show, so it's going to be a little different. Let's see. Tina and Brent. Potty training a 4.5-month-old having trouble in the house. When you're potty training with a dog, the biggest thing that you issue is consistency. Use a crate so that when the dog is out of the crate, they're always supervised. I start with an hour in the crate, hour out of the crate when they're young. And when they're out of the crate, make sure that you are watching them so that you know that they are indeed not going to go to the bathroom in your house. Once a puppy has gone to the bathroom, it's been 5 minutes, you might as well rub your own nose in it because it's too late. When a dog is older and you're still having issues, it's probably because you weren't as consistent as you needed to be. So then you end up with learned behaviors where they think it's okay So it's even more of a struggle, and you have to work on your consistency even more. If the dog does go in the house, thoroughly clean the area. They do use their scent to find a spot to go. And when you take them out in the yard, take them to the same area in the yard. I will put them in a crate. After I'm going to let them out of the crate, I actually carry them outside, put them down, them to go, congratulate them, high paw, tell them good job, and then bring them back in. Again, hour in the crate, hour out of the crate. As they get older, you can change it to 2 hours in the crate, 2 hours out of the crate, but always make sure that you are supervising them the entire time so that you are creating that consistency with them. Let's see. Thank you, Debbie. We got Oregon. Let's see. You talk about how you structure a pup's first hunt. Do I take a gun? Blair wants to know on a dog's first hunt. When I train dogs, I tell people that on the first hunt, you should not take a gun. It is making that transition from going from where you are a hunter to now you are a handler. So you are going to take the dog out. You're going to just pay attention to the dog. The other thing I do is I make sure that there aren't too many guns. Had my own personal experience with this. I had a dog that was through her training, took her out guiding at a pheasant club, and the first bird went up, and the guys unloaded their guns, 4 guys, and the dog ran back to the truck because of all the noise. It was something I couldn't replicate in training. So I suggest 1 gun, 1 handler, not the same, 2 people, 1 gun, 1 handler, and then take them out so it's controlled as possible. Remember to have your dog finish its retrieves. Remember to make sure that you are keeping the same standards that you have during your training, in your hunting, and then go from there. But that is very important so that you are putting the dog under controlled as much as you can circumstances, and then keeping the same standards that you had in your training. Hope that helps, Blair. We got Pennsylvania. Thank you for the prayers, Rick. Eureka, California. We had a lot of people on from California today. What's a good way to train one-year-old and 3-month-old pups to hold a dummy or a bird until release of command? Dan asks that question. Dan, it's called force fetch or trained retrieve. You won't find a lot of video about it because of the fact that people would have a heart attack if they saw how you did it. But you're basically creating a discomfort in the dog's ear through a pinch. And then you are telling them fetch, you're doing your ear pinch. When the bumper is in the dog's mouth, which when you first do it, you're actually opening their mouth and putting it in, you release the pressure so that you are teaching them that there's pressure if they do not have it in their mouth, and then there's pressure once the pressure ends once the bumper is in their mouth. This is how all training works. It's all a cause and effect. It's all carrot and stick. It's all teaching the dog that when they do something properly, there's no pressure and all praise. And when they are doing something improperly, that they are given pressure. So that is something that you're going to want to look up. And you actually transition that to where you use collar pressure, where you're using the e-collar and using that as your pressure. And once the bird or bumper is in their mouth, you're releasing it. And it's something that translates with the dogs, so that once you're in the field, they're going to hold and they're going to come into a nice spot where they sit, they heel, and then they provide the bird or the bumper to you. Hope that helps. Let's see, Rachel, how do you approach hold conditioning? 10-month-old protests having to hold something more than 1 to 2 seconds. Rachel, again, you're going to work with your dog on trained retrieve or force fetch. Again, with this type of training, you're putting a lot of pressure on them, so when they are holding, you're going to absolutely give them a ton of praise. The way that you start your trained retriever force fetch is up on a raised surface. If you don't have a force fetch table, you can use something like a chest freezer, tailgate of a truck, but put them up on something like that so that they are in a position so they're not as comfortable as down on the ground. You'll have less problem with them protesting. You can also have them so that they are attached with a collar to something so that they can't move around as much. I don't do that, but it is something that a lot of people will have. Again, force fetch or trained retrieve, you can probably look it up and find something that will be a really good asset to you online. Wow, we got 20 new comments. Holy cow. You guys are full of great questions today. What my 1-year-old lab, if she likes to run after each gunshot, or if we shoot our bows, keep her on a leash. Janelle, what you're going to want to do is use an e-collar and teach the dog the sit command. And then if the dog takes off, you're going to correct them and hold the button down until the dog comes back. You're going to have the collar up enough so that when it's an excitement thing, the dog does listen. But it is something where you're going to reinforce your obedience commands with sit. Taking off on the shot is something that I struggle with my dogs. It's hard because when you're hunting, you're not paying attention to them. So what you're going to want to do is get to the point where you're handling and not hunting, and you're working with the dog in this atmosphere so that they are listening. Hope that helps. Let's see. Best way to introduce a young dog to whistle commands. So this is something Joseph Key asks for whistle commands. This is something that I fall back on. I used to do law enforcement. So I used to be a trainer in law enforcement for defense and rest tactics in my prior career. And it was something that in human training we call chaining, where you're putting multiple things together. What I do is it's very simple. You use your command, which is here for calling the dog to you, and then your whistle command, which is multiple beeps. So I use 3 beeps, beep, beep, beep. So you give the command, you say here, beep, 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 right after your here command. You do that for a few days where you're constantly giving that and chaining that together with the here command verbally. You're using a good positive body language, which is where you're bent down or even on a knee calling the dog to you. And then you can replace that here command with just the whistle command after several days, and the dog will listen to it. The other thing you're going to do is a 1 whistle sit command, which is sit, beep, sit, beep for several days, and then you'll have your dog whistle trained. I hope that helps. Let's see here. Yeah, Tina and Brent. Yeah, crate training is something that you're going to use that. Just be more consistent with it. The problem that you run into with an older dog is a lot of times they'll start to go to the bathroom in the crate. So it's just something you're going to have to work through. If you didn't have the dog when it was very young and it already was taught these things, it's something that you'll work through consistency. But a lot of it is just watching the dog when it's out of a crate for potty training to make sure that you know when the dog is going to go. And dogs are very particular. They like to sniff. They like to look. And it is something that if you're consistent, you'll pull through it. All right, we got Larry from the Big D. Do I use a clicker for training? Mark Eland asked. I do not. I know some people do. Again, it gets into a praise thing. With praise, I just use my voice. So that is something that I don't worry about the clicker training. All right. 8-month-old chocolate lab, never trained a dog for waterfowl hunting. Any tips from Morgan McCauley? Morgan, you're going to want to find a good training program or a trainer to work with. Training a dog is like building a house. You're going to build your foundation, which is your e-collar training, your force fetcher trained retrieve, and your obedience. And then you're going to build up from there. When you do your training, everything comes down to based teaching the dog that they hunt for you. If the dog does not have drive, you cannot train them to hunt. You're training them that they hunt for you. All right, let's see here. So that was that. All right, do we have any other questions? Okay, if you guys got questions, go ahead and bring them up. This week, there is a bunch of new product lines coming out from HEVI-Shot I wanted to talk to you guys about. They've got some new loads that I am going to try. One's called the Heavy Hammer, which is a steel load that has 10% of a heavier, like a tungsten type load in it. So it is going to be something that is in between their heavy steel and their heavy metal. And it's something that I think is going to be pretty cool. I'm going to try it. The price point is at a very reasonable level. I believe it's under $20 a box. They also have heavy metal long range, which is something that is going to be cool because it's going to let you reach out and touch those birds a little farther. If you have not shot the HEVI-Shot round, it even sounds different. They use just a higher end material, whether it's the gunpowder to the shot themselves, to their layered technology where they're layering in their heavy metal steel They're heavy. They're heavy shot load, steel heavy shot load, but it truly does kill birds out at a farther distance. So check it out. They've got some new loads coming out. As we get more information, we will post it up here. I know they have some press releases going out, but it's going to be something where you're going to want to get a couple of boxes to try. And you know what? We might even be able to find a few that we can give away on some prize giveaways for you. All right, let's see here. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to keep up here to see if we have more questions. We got Maryland checking in. And I already answered their question because they had the same answer as a question as someone else. So the other companies we're going to be working with the show upcoming, Mech Outdoors. If you're looking for some really awesome products as far as for reloading or getting yourself trained, they have clay throwers. They have clay throwers. You can afford to have it on your own property, which is cool because here I can shoot on my own property, but we also have where you could take it out to public property where you've got some state land or federal land that allows shooting, and get yourself practice so that you are getting warmed up and ready for the season. Mech Outdoors is a great product line and something that we really appreciate. They're here right in Wisconsin. Let's see here. We got more comments. And again, I apologize for my computer being so slow today. How do you get a lab to honor another lab to retrieve? David asks. This all comes down to obedience. You're going to start doing that stuff now. You're going to give your dog a sit command. You're going to have the bird thrown, have the other person release their dog by its name. And then you're going to keep your dog sitting. While you have a dog sitting, you're going to correct them with your e-collar if the dog does take off. But while they're sitting, you're going to reassure them, sit, good dog, sit. Over and over, repeat the command so that you can give multiple positive reinforcements so that when you do have to give a negative reinforcement, you're hitting that amount of 80% positive in your training, 20% negative, 90% positive, 10% negative, so that you can give a good firm response with a collar, with a pinch collar, or even with your voice where the dog knows you mean business. But you're also letting them make the decision that, wow, this is great. I am absolutely hitting the point where we are, negative here, positive here, and we're not too much in the middle, which is where most people are. Most people don't have enough positive, don't have enough negative. You actually end up with your dog being confused because they don't understand what you want. So hit that point where the dog knows when I do X, it's negative and I don't like it. When I do Y, holy cow, they really give me a lot of positive and I like it. Soft touch method on your third lab in training. It has, let's see here. Changed my view on the technique forever. I don't know what soft touch method is, so I can't really comment on it. But I know a lot of training methods are out there where they do not use e-collars and they do not use negative reinforcement. I get that, but if you look at the dogs that are running competition consistently winning in the field trial and hunt test world, a lot of these methods are not used because they don't work. They might work on a dog in training as far as for hunting or for yard work, but when you're asking a dog to do things out at several hundred yards, my opinion is you need to have that e-collar. You need to have certain reinforcement techniques so that you can correct a dog at distance, because it's not applicable to run out at 200, grab a dog and use a different method that has zero negative. I also believe that, it's the same thing as far as raising puppies or kids. You have to have some negatives so that you can give an overwhelming positive and help them make that choice. Let's see here. We got more comments. Kevin Parrish, best way to teach direction as in left, right. What can I do to get her to hold better when running back? Kevin, if you're worried about directional casting and you haven't done your force fetch or trained retrieve, again, you need to build that base of your training. So you're basically getting to the point where you're trying to jump to the cool stuff, but you're not doing the dirty work, which is building your foundation. You need to go back. You need to do your force fetch, your trained retrieve. You need to do your e-collar conditioning. You need to do your obedience to a level where you're reinforcing it with your e-collar. And my dog just hit the computer. And habits that you're building the basis and the foundation of your training before you're worried about doing your handling, or you're going to fail. Let's see, Southeast Louisiana. Welcome, Jerry Dogman Mall. And keep going here. 5-year-old female lab who hates wearing her dog vest. Live in Wisconsin, so it's a must. I put it on her. She becomes a statue. I think she takes it as punishment. Any suggestions? So Sean's putting a dog vest on his dog. If the dog doesn't like it, Sean, we're in Wisconsin. Before it gets too warm, I would just have the dog wear it and leave it on in the house, anywhere, so that your dog understands that it's not punishment. Obviously, the dog has something weird in her head, or she thinks it is, but before it gets too warm, just leave it on her, let her run around the yard with it. Make sure that on a day like today in Wisconsin, where it's pushing 70 degrees, you're not overheating the dog, but just have her put it on her. Hell, you could even have her sleep in it at night. It is something where you want her to not get to the point where she thinks that it is punishment. You could even try feeding her with it on, so that she has it on and then goes, wow, this is actually okay. I have like an alligator attacking me named Scarlet. Scarlet, see your nose? Scarlet, come say hi. Oh, Scarlet fell down. All right, this is Scarlet. She is my other dog that likes to hug me. These are my co-workers. If there was a hashtag me too for being attacked, I would have to do it, and it would be my 2 Labrador retrievers that are attacking me. They are my comic relief during the day, and they really help me through hard times, which we've had a few lately. All right, so as you guys come on, please check in with where you are from. One of our other sponsors for the upcoming season. Right now, it looks like we're going to have 7. Rite Firearms, Rite USA, great firearm. It's inertia driven. It is off of the Benelli patent that expired. So if you want a gun that is inertia driven, check out Rite, R-E-T-A-Y. We have 5 of the firearms, semi-automatic, very, very trustworthy. The one thing I had, we have to clean them very well. They have them very, very well oiled for before they're sold, and it was a little bit heavier based. So I had some jamming problems initially. Cleaned the crap out of them and got a good quality gun oil in them, and then we didn't have a problem after. But very, very stylish. The gun pulls up nice, it follows nice, and it's not that heavy. So if you want a nice gun, check out RETAY USA here on Facebook. All right, I'm being bit by Memphis now. I'm telling you, my world is all about being attacked by my Labrador retrievers while I try to talk to you guys about dogs. So go ahead and give me some questions, guys. Up, Memphis is back. She wants to hug me. She literally would do this with me all day. She likes to paw my face. She likes to hug me. She likes to lick me. So let's see here. We'll get her up. Let her be part of the broadcast, because that's what she does. Memphis. So I don't know if you guys have dogs that when you're on the phone or you're talking to people, they try to interject themselves into the conversation, but that is absolutely her. So they just let themselves out now to go out and run around out in the yard. We're coming up on the point where we're going to call it today. What I want you to do, though, is if you have questions about dogs, if you have questions about hunting, handling, anything, please let us know. I will answer them after. You can put them here on this thread. We're doing this every week so that we can be here and build our audience with Dog Talk Live. Our TV show has moved on to an online only for season 9. We are, Sporting Dog Adventures channel. This is where our video platform will be. There's the page. If you guys can do me a huge favor, go ahead and follow our new page where we're going to have our video platform on and posting our videos. We're actually going to also be putting up weekly and a lot of times daily updates on litters that we have here. and it is something that is going to be very cool. We're one of the first TV shows that is doing this, so please support us in it. Welcome, Lafayette, Louisiana. What's your recommendation on outfitters that will let you run your own dog, Barrett? We have this at our place. A lot of times we're filming, so we're not going to, we have our own dogs because it's a TV show. But the one thing is you want to make sure that you are working with an outfitter that is letting people run their dogs, that is not going to ruin your hunt. Whether it's your dog and there's other clients or someone else's dog, you want to make sure that it's fair because people are paying to be there. And that would be just talking to the outfitters to get their idea on it. Let's see. Dog fetches a bumper, won't bring it all the way back. Heather, again, this is force fetcher trained retrieve. So you're going to want to work with your dog on that. It is teaching them mouth control, and it is part of your early training. I teach that before I even introduce a dog to birds, is force fetcher trained retrieve. So that is going to be it for today, guys. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much for all the well wishes and thoughts and prayers for my family. If you didn't know, we lost my son Cole. He was a great kid. Miss the hell out of him every day. But it is something that we are going to dedicate our lives to helping others. As far as with mental health, Cole very much struggled. So please, if you can, look at Mental Health America of Wisconsin. If you can donate some money to that place in honor of Cole Fuller, we are using that money. We're using it locally here to help our local kids, and hopefully here we can help some other organizations and grow our love for helping kids so that we can help families avoid going through what we are. Thank you so much. You guys have a great day. It's beautiful weather here in Wisconsin. I have to go work with some dogs. Thank you again. God bless.